Hi, everyone who's tuning in. I am here today with Adrianne Gammie. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, let me start over. I just was second guessing. All right.
You just got to say it and then make
And
sure.
then we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here with Adrianne Gammie of Marilla Field and Flora, and she is going to talk to us today a little bit about her farm, her CSA, and about some other flower CSAs in our area. Welcome, Adrianne.
Thanks so much for having me.
Can you tell us about your farm?
Yeah. So I am what they call a specialty cut flower farm. So I grow the kinds of flowers that florists use. And a lot of my business goes to selling flowers to florists. But there's a lot of other components to my business. I also do weddings and events, and I do a CSA that I call a subscription. My farm is based in Dexter, and it sounds really small, but it's actually a lot of flowers. I have this year, I'll probably have about a half an acre of production, which is a whole lot of flowers. And I use sustainable no-till practices. Try a really big component of my farm is to be really responsible with the land that I have, and to use that to help create kind of a better world, even if I only have, a couple acres, but to use that in a really responsible way that hopefully will leave the world a bit of a better place for my daughter and all of our children.
And how long have you been farming at your location?
So this was actually a really big year for me. I just bought this farm in 2020 and moved there this season. So I kind of had a season where I had been farming north of Ann Arbor, and this season kind of juggled two farms, and I'm all out to my new farm in Dexter now. So, but I've been farming flowers I think this is my 6th year of farming full time.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your CSA, or as you would call it, subscription?
Yeah. So my program runs, I have 3 different subscriptions. So there's a spring subscription that runs for the month of May. There's a summer subscription that runs the month of July. And then there's a dahlia specific subscription, which runs for the month of September. The bouquets pick up once a week, and it's a great way to get flowers. I generally sell out of flowers pretty much every week in season. And so getting a flower subscription, that is, of all my orders to fill for the week, that is my top priority. So it's a really good way to make sure you get flowers. It also is a hugely helpful program for me. And like many farmers, we don't have a lot of produce to sell this time of year. So it helps us to kind of get some inputs early on in the season when we're still buying seeds and getting soil. And, there's a lot of production kinds of things that we have this time of year, but we don't necessarily have the income. So it helps us to kind of get through those lean winter months until we have a lot more flowers to offer, or, similar to if you have a veggie CSA, a lot of them work the same way. So like I said, I structure mine kind of in a couple of different month-long segments, but there's a lot of flower farmers in the area, and everybody kind of structures their own subscription, or some people call it a CSA, or maybe a club program. So people kind of structure them a little bit differently. Some people, you get a bouquet every other week or once a month, or there's all kinds of different ways that different farms structure them, kind of based on whatever works best for them. But it's a really popular program because I think something that really kind of came to light for all of us flower growers during the pandemic is that, having, and I heard this from a lot of my subscribers, that having a bouquet of flowers, as you're stuck at home, having that sitting next to you, it really lifts your spirits in a way that I think we found a new importance to now that everybody has been home a whole lot more. And so, it's one of those things we say that, food feeds the body, but flowers feed the soul. So I'm so glad that kind of during the pandemic, people have really kind of recognized that flowers can play a really key role in that. And us flower growers are here for it. I think it's great. I have flowers in my life all the time, and I take it for granted. And I'm very honored that I can help other people have that too.
your spring CSA is in May. That's coming up in a few months.
Yeah.
What kind of flowers would subscribers expect to see in the spring bouquets?
The spring flowers are always everybody's favorite. And I don't know if it's just because we've just gotten through a long Michigan winter and everybody is just yearning for a little bit of color and life. But spring flowers are by far some of the most special flowers that all of us growers do. So it's anemones, ranunculus, tulips, and the kinds of tulips that most of us local growers do are fancy. And it will blow your mind what some of these tulips look like. There's parrots and there's peony types, and there's all kinds of just really interesting colors. So tulips are really special. There'll probably be some flowering branches that start coming on around them. So, crabapple blossoms and apple blossoms and all kinds of things like that. They're probably some of the best flowers of the year, and also just, the most anticipated as well.
Yes, that time when my tulips first come up in the spring is like brings me so much joy. I mean, they're nothing compared to your tulips, I'm sure, but it's still but the color after the long winter and everything is just amazing.
I just think it's the closest thing to magic that we can get our hands on. This little thing sits in the ground all winter underneath all that snow and all that, freezing temperatures. And then it just, all of a sudden it knows it's time to bloom. And I think that is, it's always exciting. It's exciting for me. And I do this for a living, but it's also exciting for me when I'm walking the dog and I see somebody else's daffodils starting to bloom.
Right.
It never gets old.
It doesn't. It's awesome. And so how do people get your CSA if they're subscription? How would they pick it up? Do they come to the farm? How does that work?
So the best way to reserve yours is I have it on my website, and there's two different pickup locations. So I have a pickup location downtown at Deer Golden. And then I also have a pickup location. I live on the west side, and I have some wonderful, lovely neighbors who have a porch. I don't have a porch on my house, but they let me put it on their porch. So you can come and pick it up from their porch. And we'll see. I'm thinking about maybe I'll get one. Maybe I'll have a pickup location at my farm in Dexter. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But there's a time window. I think they pick up on Thursday evenings. So that way it's good for the weekend.
Perfect. And what would you say? So this is your first season fully on the Dexter farm.
Yes.
What are you most excited for this season and this subscription season and all that?
I've had this land for a while, but it was an old cornfield, and it had nothing in it. So I had to pull electric and drill a well and put up a hoop house and build some of that really basic infrastructure that was needed to support my farm. And this year I'm hopefully going to put up a barn too. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. The farm that I had been at was absolutely wonderful, and I'm so grateful to have been there, but it didn't really have any shelter. So I worked out in all conditions all the time, and my car was the closest thing to shelter that I had. So I'm really looking forward to building a barn and having shelter. And my daughter can come out now, and if it's 97 degrees, I can get her out of the sun and out of the heat. That I think will probably be it will feel very, very calming to be able to have that. It's silly. Something as simple as shelter is something that I haven't really farmed with. So I'm looking forward to that. And the CSA, the subscription program, the thing that I like about that is I do sell a lot to florists, but I love the chance to put my flowers directly in the hands of the person who's going to enjoy them. So I really like having that really much closer connection to who's enjoying my flowers. And this season and every season, I that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about doing the subscription program.
And you had mentioned people could find out more about it on your website. Can you share your website for people who might be watching?
Yes, it's marillafield.com. And there's a shop in there that has all the subscription programs listed.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this awesome info and for being part of our CSA fair this year. And yeah, if anyone watching has questions, particularly about Adrianne's subscription, you can visit the website she just mentioned. And anything else to add, Adrianne?
No, that's it. I'm just excited and happy to share my flowers out there with the community.
Thank you.